He just knows.
Hello and welcome to another episode of One Fall WrestleCast Live. Derek's running late, so Tom and I are going to do our shtick. I am still the defending champion, and we'll get into that. Um, Lots and lots of rumors surrounding Drew McIntyre, and I can't wait until Derek joins us so that the three of us can discuss this. Also, travel woes have destroyed tonight's Monday Night Raw card in Seattle. Get the skinny going on that a little bit. And yeah, hiring freezes and Ric Flairs and Charlotte Flairs and Andrade's. Oh my. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there, but we're going to go ahead and make this little thing go boom. Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast. We the ones.
We the ones. We are the ones. We're the only
We are,
ones.
we are the ones. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say 8:56. I'm 8:40 on my computer screen right now.
Oh, man. 8:56. 15 minutes. I'm gonna say over. Going over.
That's probably very, very likely.
You've been holding for a while, so
I don't know, man. We'll see what happens here. So, but how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been it's hasn't been that long, I suppose. I had Easter weekend, watched some wrestling, did some Eastering, drove to Weirton, drove back from Weirton, and here I am. So
Awesome.
had a
Awesome.
Friday off, so we saw the Super Mario Brothers movie.
My wife went and saw it today with the kids and some friends,
It was
and I went and
okay.
played 9 holes.
Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't my favorite movie ever, but it was okay, I guess.
Well, it's better than fine.
It was fine. No, I
It's
feel like that's how I
fine.
describe it. Is it was fine.
So, yeah, Lindsay, they seem to have enjoyed themselves. So the big takeaway was there's a lot of good movies coming out here real soon
Yeah,
this summer.
the previews coming up were actually better than I thought. Then because they had a bunch of stuff. There's a new like Despicable Me coming out. There's a new the Little Mermaids coming out. The big trailer for that. Um, just a whole bunch of stuff. So
Yeah. Wow. So real quick, and then we'll roll in here. So we went to Target before I came here, and I was walking through the aisles, and there, right there, big old box, Funko box. It was a WrestleMania ring with Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan in it.
Funko,
Funko.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was $35.
That's not bad.
I did not make that purchase.
Ah,
I
probably would have.
will probably return. There was a couple there, and I hid one kind of,
That'll help.
in adult land. So we'll see how that.
They're really good at Target though about finding hidden things and putting it back.
Yeah, well, not according to that toy section that I was in with my kid today.
Oh well, okay. I guess each Target is its own.
So hopefully that will be in my future. Um, So next week be in the Bahamas.
Leaving the country, huh? Decided to
Yeah, I'm
get them
like
out.
12 days.
Nice.
So
Get them out.
we're gonna have to make some adjustments to our show schedule. We will try to keep you posted on that. Yeah, man. So what the hell's going on in Seattle right now, Bob?
I don't know. It's actually the weather's nice. Usually, when things go down in Seattle, apparently it's it's people can't leave. Right. That's what happened over the Christmas holiday. Is everybody's connecting flight from Seattle was canceled because Southwest, I guess, wrote it all on paper and they lost the paper or something.
Oh,
So I don't know. Maybe it was the same type of thing. It's not weather, but if somebody lost the paper, so nobody could get on the right flights. None of the flights were there. None of the flights are going to the right places. And apparently, Raw had to be rewritten as people walked through the door. Okay, who's here? Who are you? All right, you have a match tonight. You weren't scheduled. That's okay. Basketball shorts. Let's do it.
yeah.
That's apparently what's going on as they walk into the ring. It looks like there are people that happen to be showing up. I saw Otis and Chad Gable were there, and with Maxine Dupree and Dupree, and Becky's there with. Lita apparently was attacked backstage, although she didn't look all that hurt to me. And that so Becky just
Wonder how long they're gonna keep that charade going.
I think that ends tonight.
I mean,
I think that ends tonight, if I'm being honest. Because Trish just walked out with Becky to help defend the titles like they're the fucking Freebirds. But I think Trish turns on Becky in this match and they drop the titles and then maybe we get a little Trish Becky action.
that's a bold claim there, Cotton.
I think that might be what's going to happen. That's going to be my guess. Or everybody decided that Lita just can't go anymore and they're just writing this off quickly that okay, we'll just let Trish do it.
Yeah, it's been hard to watch.
It's been not great.
And listen, that's no fault of her own, right? Like I think that it's just you don't do it for a long time. You can't expect to do it at the same level you're used to.
Yeah, and also at the same like the working the style that we're used to her working, right? Like not
right.
like there's a lot. She's not 20 something able to take those bumps and do that stuff, like it's just not a good idea. How many moonsaults are you going to want to do at 40 years old, or whatever she is, 42 or whatever, however old she is. The answer is probably not many, especially after you don't do them for like whatever, 15 years or however long. So we are apparently getting the return of Matt Riddle tonight, but maybe not anymore because he may be one of the ones that's not making it.
Yeah, that's the word on the street is he's having travel woes. Sami Zayn is another one that's having some travel issues, which I guess KO will replace him against Solo Sikoa this evening.
That seems to be the plan, depending on what happens in the next few hours. At least they pulled the advertisement. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like everybody's having a hard time getting to Seattle, which is weird. Or not everybody, but enough people are having a hard time getting to Seattle that it seems like it's more of an issue than just like some isolated Matt Riddle's plane got canceled. Like it seems like a lot of people were about to be on that plane, and a lot of people ain't gonna make it. So I don't know if it's like from Florida maybe, or like a connecting flight from Florida that got hung up or something, or what. But Or maybe just the Florida people made it, and the people that weren't in Florida aren't making it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's an unfortunate situation, but I mean at the same point in time, like these things happen in the business of travel. So I mean I'm sure they'll do their best to make some chicken shit out of chicken salad, chicken salad out of chicken shit over there on Monday Night Raw. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. But I am here to tell you though, Tom, that the marks can rest easy because their God, King, and Savior, Dave Meltzer, has reported that Vince McMahon is not in Seattle.
And and
So
this is something I said last week too. I said I didn't imagine Vince was going to make the trips week in, week out. Like, yeah, was he there the Monday after WrestleMania still? Absolutely. He's been in LA. He's probably been in LA for a week. And every great now and then, is Vince not going to be able to help himself after being in a town for a few days to decide, you know what, I really just want to put myself in the weeds tonight. It's a thing. He can't. This is all he did for 50 years, right? There's going to be there's going to be a few shows a year where Vince is not going to be able to help himself, and he's just going to get in there. And you know what? Triple H, being the good son-in-law that he is, gonna be like, you know what? We run 52 of these goddamn things of this particular show every year. You want to do you want to mess with 3 of them? Be my guest. It's probably not worth the argument with the
yeah,
old
but
man.
the only my biggest problem with that though is the fact that it was the Raw after WrestleMania.
Right, and I
Like,
understand that, and I get that, and I think that was a combination of things. I think a lot of it was probably twofold, right? One, Vince was there. Two, as Mia Yim had pointed out a little bit beforehand, a lot of those people hadn't been home in their own beds for a week, 2 weeks, preparing for WrestleMania. They had been there doing press, doing signings, doing things. They'd been in LA, and not only if they'd been in LA, they'd been in and out of LA as well to go to the shows to the other shows, and then back to LA for more press. Good Morning America, all that stuff. So some of it could have just been a matter of, you know what? All right, who do we need? Who don't we need? All right, you guys can go home. You guys can go home. And were there rewrites that day? Yeah, because I mean, I feel like a lot of people were probably banged up too. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
after having some big matches and putting it all on the line in WrestleMania, a lot of people were like, I'm supposed to wrestle again, but probably would be better for my knee if I didn't, or something like that. You know what I mean?
right.
So there was likely, and there were reports of a lot of that going on too. So while I agree that the Raw after WrestleMania is a big deal and always has been a big deal, it's not exactly the same as it used to be anymore, right? Like now it's SmackDown's on Friday. So we get Friday. Saturday, there's an NXT show. And there's night 1 of WrestleMania, and then Sunday there's another long night of WrestleMania, and on top of that, there's now a press event after the fact, like that didn't used to exist either, and then you roll right into another 3-hour show on Monday. So it's like, even best case scenario, these guys showed up on Thursday, had to do stuff all day. Friday, worked a show. Saturday, Sunday, now Monday. So, it's hard to, I think it would be hard to not be burned out by
I
Monday
agree.
now. I think there's just too much now between Friday and Monday. It used to just be like, all right, WrestleMania is on Sunday. There wasn't like SmackDown was like a taped show that happened on like Thursday, if you'll remember, and then it was like, all right, we'll do WrestleMania and then Monday Night Raw. So it was like, they didn't have to show up. They could travel Friday and Saturday, do that crap. Oh, he's here. All right. There he is. There he is. So that's, I think that's part of it too. Now, if maybe I'm being optimistic and maybe there won't be maybe Vince is going to take over, and a few weeks from now we're going to be like, oh no, it's all back to the way it was, and none of it makes sense, and it gets rewritten on the spot every week. And
that kind of leads us into the next thing that we really wanted to touch on, right? It's like there's a rumored hiring freeze since Vince came back into the fold here in at the beginning of 2023, and that's possibly why we didn't get Jay White in WWE, because they were having talks and communication late as the Thursday before WrestleMania.
Yeah, but they also knew that he had signed as of that weekend. They knew that he had signed with AEW, so it's not necessarily.
Yeah,
so
but he
I don't
signed
know
on like Saturday or Sunday that weekend, and they were still communicating on Thursday before that. So like, allegedly there was a little bit of a communication breakdown, and some are crediting that communication breakdown to this unspoken hiring freeze. My guess is that's probably related to the sale. But
I mean, likely.
I don't live there. I don't know that for certain, but I mean, just the business piece of it would tell me that, hey, we're not going to bring on any additional, sources of us having to pay out to lessen our value our perceived value in the eyes of the buyer, right? And I mean, I guess that makes sense, but when you've got 3 big free agents out there, that we have to believe that they are pursuing, you can't let somebody like Jay White slip through the cracks. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, we don't know that Jay White didn't just make. It's possible that they had said something to Jay White in the fact, they maybe said, all right, well, we got the show. We're about to leave for WrestleMania. We can't do anything until after WrestleMania. Maybe they hadn't come to terms or a deal or anything. And Tony Khan likes to throw money around. It's his favorite thing. He maybe just made that call. All right, but how about instead of 1 mil, 1.2 mil? And Jay White was like, all right, these chooches ain't going to call me for a week. I'll take it. I'm in. That sounds great. 3 years, 1.2 mil a year. Let's do it. And at AEW, he gets to work with all his best friends. He doesn't have it. And there was things are not, I would say, as ironed out in WWE right now as optimistic as I seem to speak of it. There's still certainly the potential that Vince comes back. There's certainly the potential that, through this sale, things change a lot. And, what was promised doesn't end up being what it is. And
it came out today that he only has something like 18% or something voting rights now. He's lost
but we didn't know that last week.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So, like, to piggyback off of you, it's like, there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding WWE right now. Hey, Derek. Hey, are you gonna say anything, bub? Like, you've not been here in like 6 weeks. Okay, the fans forgot what you look like. I mean, what you sound like.
I look like a lobster now when I come back.
I didn't forget what you looked like, Derek.
He's a lobster.
Oh.
I
was just enjoying your guys' conversation as I eat my cheese stick. So proceed.
Cheese sticks.
Ooh, is it a string cheese?
Oh,
those are good. Or do you eat them like this, like a savage?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Really?
I don't string them.
He also eats corn the long way,
like Goldberg. Him and Bill Goldberg. Eat corn the long way.
So, I mean, it just puts us in a situation, though, Bub, where it's like, what? I guess like tonight's really going to be one of those make or break nights, right? Like, are they going to be able to turn this show around and make it into something special, or is it just going to let's cut our losses and get the internet talking about Vince McMahon again?
I don't know. So I think it depends on what they do and who ends up actually making it. to the show, because there was a moment there where people were kind of worried, like, oh shit, are we going to have enough talent to do this show? But Raquel's there and Liv is there, and they've got their tag match right now. It's happening. So I'll tell you what, Trish doesn't look like she's lost a beat. If I'm being honest,
she still looked pretty good.
If I'm being honest, she did a snapmare, and then she did that thing where they grab the hair and they smash each other's faces.
Yeah,
that looked just as good as she did it 20 years ago.
So allegedly, the cameraman ringside is the one that's getting all of the credit for telling Snoop to punch The Miz. I don't know if you guys saw that come out this week.
Stu?
Not Stu.
Or another random unnamed
Stu's on
fan.
the ramp. Stu's on the ramp. Stu's, let's go to work, Stu. But no, the WWE cameramen are like clearly some of the best wrestling minds in the game. If we're being honest, it's one thing to book wrestling; it's an entirely different thing to shoot it. And somehow they shoot it flawlessly, like almost every week. And we've seen the difference between flawless camera work or near perfect camera work in WWE and like kind of novice camera work in AEW where they catch every blade job. So it doesn't shock me.
This fucking guy.
It doesn't.
Derek's not even here for like fucking 32
stop.
seconds. Derek's not even in here for 32 seconds. And Tom's already jumping down his throat. I've not heard the words AEW camera blading in like 6 weeks that you've not been here, bud. Like it's definitely you.
I get it. I mean, I bring controversy.
So anyway,
I'm the one.
And then we got the WWE cameramen just being able to be like, Snoop, hit him, make something happen. That I think that's that just seems to me to be a thing them guys would do, and they're clearly good at what they do. So it was still good. It worked out great. Not great. I mean, obviously the better angle would have been the angle they were trying for, but it was better than nothing. And at least they got a cool story out of it, right? Like, oh, Snoop punched him and hit him with the stiffest people's elbow anybody's ever seen in the history of people or elbows. So it worked out, to be something. There was it was a WrestleMania moment. Wasn't the one they were looking for, but it was a moment.
It was a moment. It's a good way to put it.
Well, speaking of WrestleMania moments, earlier today, WWE and Logan Paul came to terms on a contract extension. Derek,
No, they didn't.
I'd like to get your thoughts.
It was photoshopped, is my thoughts. That ain't real. Did you see it? Is it just a fucking cardboard cutout of Triple H? He doesn't look like this every time. There's no way. It was too perfect. Seriously, I put those both side by side. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah, I know.
Did he probably seriously sign a contract today?
Yeah,
yes.
Logan Paul did seriously sign a contract, but I know what you're talking about. Because it's basically the same picture that they took with Stephanie.
Weird.
Like the last time they did this, it's like Triple H is in the same spot and Logan Paul's wearing basically the same jacket. It's just a different color with the matching color of Prime Energy on the table. It's I get what I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I'm looking at it now.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
But I mean, overall, I do feel like he's deserving. It's weird to say this, but he does a good job,
I mean,
it's funny because I just got a text message from somebody that's a screen cap of this from Instagram, and it says this was 1,000,000% photoshopped.
But they definitely WWE reported it. They definitely signed a new contract. Whether they did it in person or over the phone or whatever, they absolutely did. The contract exists, and I think that was a no-brainer. They were going to re-sign Logan Paul for just because he's been able to
how have times changed? Because we shit all over this.
Yeah, but then he had like 5 really good matches.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Like we thought it was a bad
we judged
idea.
the
And we
book
were
by its cover.
Yeah. I mean, we thought it was, but somehow I don't know why he's good at wrestling.
I
don't know. I don't like it, but I mean, it is what it is.
How is he able to go out there and put on like pay-per-view quality, wrestling matches? It's been, I mean, I'm sure they rehearse it or whatever. They go through the spots, but I mean, the end product has been good every time.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, they've put him in there with the best workers. He's not in there with like fresh, green wrestlers. He's in there with Seth Rollins or The Miz or Roman Reigns, somebody who's, had 50 million of these, paper matches, and they understand how to work with somebody less experienced and all that. But you know what? It's worked out every time.
sure has.
Somebody a lesser athlete wouldn't have been able to do it. I couldn't do it. You could put me in there with Seth Rollins, I wouldn't look like that. And
maybe he's that good. Maybe that's what it is.
I mean, I don't think maybe. I don't know. I think I'd probably get hurt. That'd be I'd probably get hurt. I think that's the truth of the matter is I would be injured. But no, I mean, it's as silly as it sounds, as silly as it would sound to me of whatever a year ago. No brainer. Re-sign Logan Paul.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, man, it's wild. I can't believe we're sitting here saying that.
Right.
Really, just blows my.
Hey, look, as somebody who will take responsibility for it, I can admit when I was wrong. When I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong sometimes because. When I'm wrong, and it's because especially this is gonna suck, but it's actually good. Like I would prefer things to be good, right? Like that's the way I'd rather be wrong. I would, I would rather
good
think something. I would rather think something is going to be bad and it turn out to be good than vice versa. So, it seems like a no-brainer. And when I heard that it was like, oh, Logan Paul's contract is up, I'm like, they're just gonna re-sign him if he wants to, because. Why not? Like it's been money every time. Why wouldn't they just keep doing it? It's been a marquee matchup, and every match has been something to talk about a little bit. Like it's at least had a good spot, right? Like the match themselves have been generally fine, not too terribly long, and they've had a big spot for a big pop and and it's worked out every time. So you want to do one or two of those every year. I think it's worth it.
Yeah,
I was actually listening to Jim Cornette today, and this just tells you how well Logan Paul has done for himself. He did not have a bad thing to say about the guy,
even
as far as his wrestling
bad to say.
And for him to be all right with it, he's doing a good job.
Yeah, even Corny didn't hate it. Oh, Trish got beat. I was wrong.
So, Dr. Britt Baker has recently just stirred the pot a little bit. She retweeted a tweet, and it's from AEW Results. And it says, women's singles win percentage over 30 matches, and it's 10 folks. Okay? Number 1, 100%, Jade Cargill. Number 2, 97%, Athena. Number 3, 93%, Abaddon. Thunder Rosa, 88. 5, Sheeta, 86. 6, Ty Conti, 84. 7, Ruby Soho, 84. Chris Statlander, 84. So what is that? That's a three-way tie at 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Nyla Rose at 81. And Serena Deeb at 79%. Britt Baker had this to say. Wait, so you're saying I'm not even top 10 in wins? Question mark. Which has led a lot of folks to speculate that maybe Dr. Britt's a little unhappy with her positioning in AEW.
Well, I mean, and then thinking about all those women as well. When was the last time we saw Abaddon on television?
I don't think I've even heard Abaddon's name.
We haven't seen Nyla Rose on television in 6 months, 8 months.
Oh, we got to talk about Vicky Guerrero.
We got to talk about her too. We've not seen Athena. I mean, Athena's maybe had 4 or 5 television matches, so, and most of her stuff now has just been whatever Ring of Honor, Honor Club stuff. So, I mean, a lot of these are just like women who do squash matches on YouTube for the most part. And whereas Dr. Britt, if any woman is on TV, she's one of them. Unfortunately for her, she ends up being like in a, she ends up being in a tag match or in some kind of something where she gets beat or her opponent gets beat. I'm sure that's a combined percentage, but it's so for Dr. Britt and for her, I can't say one way or the other whether or not she's happy or unhappy, but if I were, the AEW women's division, if I was a member of that roster at all, I think I'd be unhappy because, quite frankly, they're not getting TV time. When they do get TV time, they're pretty short matches. It's very like
Agreed.
It's very like 15 years ago WWE for that.
Yeah, except the women wrestle, they don't get naked.
Yeah. Well, 15 years ago, were women still getting naked?
No.
Okay, but you guys have come in here though every week and shit all over the women's division because it sucks. So
I mean, it does suck.
Really see more of it.
Suck.
But you can't put it out there and showcase it though if it sucks.
But I mean, at the same point in time, they need to get reps to get better, bud, and they don't
do it on YouTube.
They don't travel.
That's what they have. YouTube, Dark Elevation, all that. I think what we're really running into here is averages, whereas, Abaddon maybe has 3 matches on the main roster and, she won 2 out of the 3 or, that's not correct math, but you know what I mean. Where, Dr. Britt.
Well, I mean, it was more than 30 matches. Those were the people with more than 30 matches.
Oh, that was also the situation of it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, in all fairness, those are all people who had been there for years at this point. So maybe they all had 30 matches over a span of 3 years. That's only 10 matches a year. That's not particularly a lot. So if we're counting Abaddon, I think that Derek's got a point there. In that, Abaddon's 30 matches came over the last 2 years, and they were all on YouTube. I think she's had a few main television, but I think anything she's had on television's been on, post 10 o'clock on Rampage. So it's not been a show that a lot of eyes have seen. Whereas
did I not hear you say Riho's name? Was Riho not in the list?
She was
Riho was not on that list.
She's maybe not had enough matches, if you think about it.
I don't think she's had 30 matches in AEW.
I think all of her matches have been televised because she's popular, but I don't know that she's had 30 matches because she was gone for a long time and she's gone for really long stints and she only ever has maybe a few matches. I would say she's probably somewhere in the mid-high 20s of matches, but I don't think she's had 30.
I love that is our inaugural women's champion, and she has less than 30 matches. This is great outlook.
I mean, that whole thing was if you remember when the women's division started, it was basically Riho, Yuka Nakazaki, what's her name? Yuka Nakazaki?
I don't fucking know, bro.
Anyway, it was Riho.
It was all of Kenny Omega's ex-girlfriends.
Yeah, Yuka Nakazaki. The girl that the older Chinese lady or Japanese lady that they walked out to do the Freddie Mercury shtick, and Dr. Britt when Dr. Britt was a face, and did I say Nyla Rose? That's it. That was it.
I mean, you can't forget Brandy Rhodes. I mean,
I tried.
How dare you? She had a fucking faction for a whole 2 weeks, and you forgot about her.
How dare you?
They shaved Mel's head. Remember that? And we never saw Mel again.
Yeah, sure did. Sure didn't. Where the fuck's Chris Statlander?
I think she's hurt
She back?
again. No,
hurt
she's
again?
hurt.
Yeah.
Still hurt.
She went out on the alien ship again, apparently.
Jiminy Christmas.
She's been hurt for the that's why she's not on that list, because she's been hurt for the better part of 3 years.
She's like the Bo Bennett of AEW.
Man, that's a reference there.
I got in a fight with Mark Madden live on his radio station about him defending Bo Bennett.
Yeah, you should just wrap him in bubble wrap before he goes out on the ice.
Goodness.
I mean, even he makes jokes about himself about
what a waste of talent that guy was.
Poor guy.
Goodness gracious.
He was on that roster for like 2 years, played like 9 games.
Right.
And they were all one at a time.
And then the Penguins traded him for a pack of gum.
That's all he was worth. That's all he was worth with the pack of gum. No, I think was he not part of the deal that got James Neal?
Yes.
I don't remember that, honestly.
Man, I miss James Neal.
Well, you missed James Neal 10 years ago. I think
Yeah. No, I think he's still playing.
He might be, but he's not. He's
He's
not
not the James Neal of 10 years ago.
No.
Not the James Neal of 10 years ago. Hey, Tom, I don't know if you knew or not, but Bailey was at work today. So
I saw.
Apparently her Twitter barrage was some storyline kayfabe, which was, which is good to hear because, some of us were concerned.
Yeah, but I didn't see
especially
Bailey
when she got sent home last week.
Yeah, but I didn't see Bailey going anywhere. And truthfully, Bailey was probably one of the ones that deserved to go home because she tends to always be the one who like puts the whole company on her back and just runs with it. And nobody ever gives her the credit except for me for carrying.
No, that's horseshit.
WWE.
That's horseshit. I fucking sit here and put Bailey over all the fucking time. It's not my fault that she's fucking not doing what she should still be doing from before she got hurt.
Ding dong, hello. Still carrying the
Drunk
championship around.
Fucking, she needs to live there. That
Come
needs
through
to be
the door.
Derek, what are you doing, dude?
Taking a nap.
Man, it's just kicking in real good.
What is the nighttime?
Yeah.
The NyQuil?
Tired. I've been outside working, man, since like 7 this morning.
Why?
I'm dying. I took the day off to, just destroy this room, basically. It was all nice and clean, and now there's like baby beds over here beside me, and I ripped all the baby stuff out of my shed. So
you baby stuff in the shed?
We are full on baby sizing right now.
I did. I golfed today.
You worked hard.
I had a great day.
I worked. I'm the only one who went to work today. Apparently, I went to work.
I guess
I did work today. I ran the vacuum. My kids were home all day. They're in bed right now, just hanging out. I think I've turned Evie on to Master Chef Junior, and Damien got some Miitopia game on Switch, and he's just like, this game is so fun. So he's been basically playing that all day.
Hey, Tom.
We went rollerblading. Anybody else go rollerblading with their kids?
No,
I would die.
Hey,
Tom. Rollerblade. Me not so much.
Hey, Walt.
Did you not see Trish turn heel on Becky?
Did she?
She did.
No, I missed it.
Yes. Yeah.
Did I call it? I called it?
Yeah, you fucking called it.
I was totally expecting Becky to be the one to do the turn, but
interesting. I don't think Trish was a heel. When she was yeah.
Trish has done plenty of heel work, both before she was a wrestler and after she was a wrestler. She did plenty of heel work.
So then, did Trish attack Lita backstage?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, you're right. In the aftermath, yeah. I'm seeing it now. Trish Stratus, but yeah, and Trish was the one that lost too. Huh? Go figure. Yeah, maybe it was Trish that attacked Lita backstage. Oh, now it's a thing. Now Becky gets to feud with. There we go. She's not going to talk to Jonathan Coachman. Fuck off, coach.
Oh, fucking coach.
Not talking to him.
All right, so I mean, I've only really got one more thing I'd like us to fucking discuss, unless anybody has anything breaking.
Well, I mean, breaking, I was right.
Yeah,
Trish
that was
Carnegie.
awesome.
I mean, that's important. Apparently, I can
mean,
call this shit. Apparently, I can call this shit now off the cuff.
I mean,
it's really been Tom doing this. The booking.
So much wrestling I've watched, boys. I can call this off the cuff. I'm in the old man's mind. Which old man? We're not sure. Is it Vince? Is it Triple H? Which old man's mind am I in? I don't know. But what's your other thing?
My other thing is this. So we made fun of this last week, Tom. Tony Khan had a major announcement on AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, and we poked fun at this announcement. He announced that they're gonna do another All In Wembley Stadium. That's big time for AEW.
It is big time.
So this is like a 2 or 3 part scenario here. I wanna stay focused.
Just say this is a big topic. So
yes, I want to stay focused on this portion without straying to anything else, gentlemen. So Wembley Stadium is a giant venue.
What is it? 80,000?
Yeah, it's 80,000 seats.
80,000 seats. So that means you could put.
So we're probably looking at 100,000 people.
Yeah,
right?
Close.
Once you add floor seating,
I don't know how many. I don't know that floor seating is 20,000.
Well, I mean, it's Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They play NFL games there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay, you're right. You're right.
I've got to imagine. We'll just, for the sake of argument, we'll call it 100,000.
It's a nice round number.
Is AEW capable of selling 100,000 seats in a foreign market?
So I'm going to answer your question with another question. Is Great Britain actually a foreign market when it comes to American professional wrestling? Because I am of the opinion that American pro wrestling, AEW, WWE, is more popular on average in Great Britain than it is in America. Now, there's not as many people, and it's not hugely more. But if you think about it, one, there's a lot of British wrestlers. Two, there's a lot of British YouTube. They don't necessarily get to watch it live, but
I guess most of the successful wrestling YouTube channels, they're all British.
Yeah. And there's a lot of British wrestlers too. There's a lot of British wrestlers in WWE. And there's quite a few also in AEW as well. So I don't know that you can look at it as a foreign market per se. You know what I mean? If they were having a show in a 100,000 seat arena in, Helsinki, Finland, I would say no. That's gonna be that they're gonna have a bad time there. However, in Wembley Stadium,
when you try to pizza, when you French fry when you should pizza, you're gonna have a bad time.
Are they gonna fill Wembley Stadium? Probably not. There's gonna be some seats available. Are they gonna sell?
There it is.
Are they gonna sell a lot of tickets? Probably still. Yeah, I'd say so. Are
they gonna tell us it's a sellout even if it's not a sellout?
I think if it's not a sellout, they just don't say anything and they move everybody up.
Or instead of moving everybody up, why not just sell the bowl and then create the floor?
I mean, maybe. Or they'll just put the hard cam and block off like all those seats behind the hard cam.
But that's a standard practice anyways.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to just do, but block off everything. like have that whole half of the, let's say they sell 50,000 tickets. Like, that would be a huge success. 50,000 wrestling tickets. Like, that's a huge success for them. They're usually,
I've got to feel like the goal going into this is to sell out this stadium.
I don't know that that's necessarily the goal. I mean, I think they would like that, but I think if they sold 50,000, I think they could see that as a huge success. They were when WCW went to Wembley Stadium, they sold 45,000 or something like that. I just saw this on Twitter. They sold like 45,000 or something, and that was considered a huge success at the time.
SummerSlam 92 from Wembley Stadium, 94,000 people. Okay, so that's the benchmark. That's
they're not selling SummerSlam 92 level tickets. That's just not happening.
So neither of you believe that that's possible.
No, I think Tom was pretty close. I think 50. I was thinking 60,000. Yes.
So then why even go after a stadium if you're not expecting to?
Because you can say it's Wembley Stadium. You can say it. It's like, I don't know a lot of names of stadiums in other countries, but I know Wembley Stadium. It's like when somebody plays the Royal Albert Hall, right? Eric Clapton at the Royal Albert Hall. Do I know the names of concert venues in Great Britain? No, but I know Royal Albert Hall. Do I know the names of concert venues in other? No, but I know if it's like, we're at Budokan. Fuck, okay. Like, there are certain stadiums and certain venues where the name carries the weight, and it's like, you know what? Maybe we can't sell out Wembley Stadium this time, but we can have a big ass show here. And if we sell 50,000 tickets or 60,000 tickets, that's the biggest door we've ever had.
Yeah.
And it'll look good. And then maybe next time they go back in a year or two, maybe they sell 65, 70,000. Maybe it's a building block. And I think that you have to play. So you didn't think I was going to go this route, but I think you have to do the Wembley stadiums, even if you're not going to sell out Wembley Stadium, which I don't think they're going to. They can say all out from Wembley Stadium. You
all
can say
in,
that,
my friend.
Or all in. My bad.
That's not a jab at Cody Rhodes. I don't know what is.
I don't really take it so much as that. I really just feel like it's a callback to the original one, but it's not. It's only going to get over with the hardcore wrestling fans as far as people that know what that means. And they've never actually said anything yet as far as, is this going to be a pay-per-view? Is this going to be on TV? Is it going to be on some obscure streaming service that I have to now pay $10 a month for?
It's absolutely going to be a fucking pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's going to be a $50 pay-per-view for sure.
Maybe it's going to be on streaming service. Maybe there's going to be a big announcement next Wednesday because, Tony can't ever have enough big announcements. I think another thing, though, that we got to look at is, at least in my mind, whenever I'm thinking of, Britain, Europe, all that good stuff, I feel like over there people travel probably more so.
That's fair.
So I would think,
buddy, because the whole country itself is like a little bigger than Florida. Like, it's not.
Yeah,
we're not talking about like fucking. It's not 3,000 miles wide. It's you can drive from one end of the country to the other in about 6 or 7 hours or so. It
wouldn't be 3,000 miles wide because they don't use that unit of measurement.
You're right. It's meters. Or in America, we measure with everything other than the metric system. So how many alligators wide? How many alligators wide do you think it is?
9,322.
That's a good guess. That's a good enough guess for me. I should Google that. How many alligators wide is Great Britain? Measure with anything other than the metric system. We could fit 6 washing machines down there.
So this leads me to believe that AEW feels good about their positioning in the world, right? That they're starting to go a little bit more widespread international, and the way they're doing it, kind of to me, really feels like Vince in the '80s,
Fake it
reaching
till
into
you make it.
Canada a little bit, and then we're going to England.
Fake it till you make it.
Man, I just don't know if the worldwide appetite for AEW is there.
Again, like I said, I don't know about the worldwide appetite, but the British European appetite, I would say, is probably, especially because they don't have. So like this is a big event, and they're not going to get the opportunity. Like we've been to a few AEW shows already. Hell, we've missed a few. And but the opportunity comes to us pretty regularly. For them, this would be probably one of their first opportunities, and it might be their last opportunity for a year or so. You know what I mean? So maybe 2 years. Who knows? Especially at Wembley Stadium, something like something to that that level, like going to see WWE, in Madison Square Garden or something like that. Like there's certain, like I was saying earlier, there's certain venues that are a big deal. So I do think people will come out. Now, if this was the third time they'd been to England in the last 6 months, I think it's a different story. But they've clearly looked at the demographics and said, we could run a show here. Yeah, maybe we won't sell it out, but we'll use the star power of this stadium as well to, kind of promote this event. And yeah, it'll be a big enough deal that enough people should come out to it that it'll be profitable for us. And I think they'll still have a really big gate. Like I said, 50,000 people for AEW is double what they get at most things. That's double the size of most places they play, most places they go. So even if it's not a total sellout, and hell, maybe it will be a sellout. I mean, I'm sure they're hoping. They're like, man, how great would that be? Because if it is, then you could kind of ride high on that for however long. Can't believe we sold out Wembley Stadium. Oh my God, like that's you carry momentum coming out of that. So I don't see it as there's not a whole lot of risk. I don't think, unless they show up and only sell 10,000 tickets, and that would be a fucking tragedy. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, so that Derek, this kind of leads us into the next portion of this, and I'm going to go to you first because I already know that Sir Thomas is going to have so very much to say, but a lot of folks seem to feel like this is a purposeful move because one Drew McIntyre has cited that he is unhappy with the 2 C's. And if you listen to any level of podcasting in the pro wrestling world, I'm talking about cash and creative. And he might be jumping ship just in time to appear for AEW at All In Wembley Stadium.
So I'm not sure where you're getting all that from because that's just the first time hearing this. But if that was true, you realize how hard I would make fun of Tom after all the hours he has put over Drew McIntyre whenever he put the championship on his back and carried WWE.
He did.
Through COVID. Without a crowd.
He did.
No crowd. Champion ever.
No crutch. Put it on his shoulders. Him and Bailey.
I hope it happens. That'd be great. I would be excited to see Drew. I mean, Drew's a solid worker, and if Drew's not happy, guess what, man? There's options. That's why this is here. It's not it's not gonna be out of the realm of possibility to start seeing more and more guys, bigger names, just like we have been seeing jumping over to AEW, and it's gonna be more and more
or vice versa for that matter.
Exactly. I mean, we do have the betting war of 2024 coming up. As we all know, MJF just will not let it go. I think this is going to be just a reoccurring theme, and we're going to continue to see a ton of it. Now, would I say that this is a convenient, coincidence? Most likely, because I really don't foresee them booking Wembley Stadium on the half hint hunch that Drew might sign with them on such and such date.
Yeah, but it sure as shit might sell a lot of tickets because we look at CM Punk's return in Chicago. That was the rumor for a day and a half, and that was enough to sell out that building that they had no business selling out. So I mean, it's not to say that Tony Khan's not like, oh, look at all this free press going on out here over Drew McIntyre. I haven't even talked to Drew. I don't even know what Drew does. Does Drew do anything cool? I don't know. Maybe he'll
somebody get this man's phone number.
Put him on Rampage. You think we could put him on Rampage? What if he shows up at Wembley Stadium? That'd be awesome. We could totally just bank money off of him showing Wembley Stadium. And then if he doesn't, he doesn't. Who cares? We sold the tickets, and then we'll tell him to watch Rampage.
How many alligators do you think it is from Scotland to Great Britain, Wembley Stadium?
2.
Yeah, it's not very far.
I have no idea, but
you could jog.
I'm not the one to be asking geography.
People can swim across the channel.
No, you can't. There's a fucking monster.
There are walls here.
No, that's Loch Ness. That's different. There's a yeah.
Oh, goddamn Loch Ness monster.
I've never been. I
tried to tell the Loch Ness monster I don't have tree fitting.
I don't think Bobby Lashley
said I'm gonna need about tree fitting.
Get around. Bobby Lashley could not get his arms around what's his face, Bronson Reed. He's too girthy of a man.
It was about that time that Bobby Lashley realized that Bronson Reed was the goddamn Loch Ness monster.
And he says, I'm gonna need about 350.
Tree fitting. So, Tom, I've got to know, man, like, what I see that you agreed with Derek a little bit, there in the grand scheme of things, but what, first of all, like, what is the possibility that WWE just lets Drew McIntyre win?
I don't think I don't think there's really any possibility that Drew walks out or that Drew leaves. I don't see it. I can't see why Drew would be unhappy with his booking. He clearly just got a 5-star match at WrestleMania.
No, Gunther got a 5-star match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, but Drew was in that match. Anyway, not important.
Drew took the beating of that match.
Everybody, God, they all took
that shit.
They all took the beating of that match. Okay, let's be fair to everybody who was beat the fuck up. No, I can't imagine that they would let that WWE would let Drew leave. If Drew left on his own accord, it would have to be something more than just his unhappiness with booking, because I can't see that his booking's been that bad unless he just you put the goddamn title on Roman Reigns and I can't be the champ anymore. Unless he's real mad about not carrying a belt around. He's been in pretty good stuff, pretty main event level stuff, basically the whole time. So I
would
can't
agree.
I can't see him having a huge issue with the booking. He's been booked at the top of the card pretty much the whole time. Can't see an issue with that. If he leaves, it's got to be something else, or maybe he feels that he's unfulfilled or wants to do something else, or I can't imagine why he would look at AEW from his perspective and from the perspective of, unless, he's got this what if I could take this company, put it on my back and get them to 1.2, 3 million, 1.4 million views a week just based on my star power alone, at a 25%, 30% audience growth. Unless he's got that kind of aspiration to I'm a big enough star, I can go and be a big star in this other and make this company more than what it is, unless there's that type of thought. But even if that's the case, I can't imagine WWE just letting him go to attempt that. You know what I mean? So
I mean, they have to throw the house at him, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, now if they throw the house at him and he's like, hey, listen, I just want to go do my own thing for a little while. I mean, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But I don't know how we can sit here and fully believe that he's going to leave WWE.
No, I don't think so either. I can't. I would be really shocked. To put it that way, I'd be really shocked if that happened. That would be really shocking.
Because I mean, he worked his ass off to get back there.
Yeah,
and I think that says a lot, right?
And as far as we can tell, he's living his best life, booking wise, like getting to work with one of his best friends, having one of the best matches in WrestleMania. The only reason they weren't on the card last week is because they sent them home because they were all beat up. Like they were the three specifically. Yeah, they were the three specifically that they let leave. You guys could go. So it's I can't imagine that again. I would be shocked, but I've seen the rumors and I've seen the internet wrestling marks. Like, oh, could you imagine Drew Galloway is All Elite? Like, no, I couldn't, because it's just not like it would be. And then Drew would sort of be a giant amongst flies, really.
Yeah, I mean, and how'd that work out for Brian Cage?
Not great, and that's the problem. Is that like either he gets booked into a hole, and he's just out there in tag matches, fighting Orange Cassidy every week, or I just can't see it. I don't even see how does he even fit in AEW? Who do you feud him with? Keith Lee? Like you feud him? Who's over enough to feud with Drew?
I mean,
Orange Cassidy?
Yeah,
that's not gonna work.
Orange Cassidy's absolutely over.
Yeah, I know he is, but I mean, Drew's 6'4". I mean, he's gonna tower over everybody. He looks unbeatable, unless you just show up and put title on him day one, just let him run through everybody. Remember, hey, he could kill Moxley again. That's what he did the last time when Dean Ambrose left WWE. Killed him in Pittsburgh, actually.
Sure did.
I was there. I saw it. Stuck his head through the thing and Claymored his head off.
Sure did. And then Moxley showed up on AEW pay-per-view 5 days later.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, man. Like, it's fun to sit here and fantasy book that. But I just... That will be the most shocking thing to happen in pro wrestling since Hogan's heel turn.
Yeah. I mean, Hogan's heel turn, that was a big deal.
Hell yeah, it was.
That was
big fucking deal, bro.
When they came out and he was like, it was in spray. They spray painted the belt.
The best part about all of that, right, is fucking he's walking to the ring. Everybody's like, oh, Hulk Hogan, and Bobby the Brain's like, whose side's he on? Everybody's just like, oh. Brain didn't know. Brain was just being Brain.
Apparently, Brain was drunk a lot then too. That was
well, I mean, he was dealing with a lot of neck issues during that time. So
sure was. But yeah, no, that'd be a huge deal. It was this. I don't know that this would be as big of a deal as that. But it would be shocking like that. So yeah, I just don't see it. I really don't. Like, as much as I'm trying to put it over in my head of like, oh, it could happen. I don't think so.
I mean, it could happen though, bud.
I mean, in theory, a lot of things could happen.
Anything is possible in pro
Anything's
wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things could happen. Cody's
So-
out here in a white suit. Who has the balls to wear a white suit? Good Lord.
Cody Rhodes, that's who.
Cody Rhodes. That's it.
Oh,
After Easter, you're allowed.
Is that how that goes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
well, guys, I just have to say, if it does happen, that could shift the entire landscape of pro wrestling.
No, it couldn't.
Sure could.
No, it couldn't.
Sure could. That would be the single largest name to leave WWE to go to AEW. Single largest. Punk was
Larger than
disgruntled.
Ambrose? Larger than... No.
Punk was
Ambrose was
disgruntled. Okay. Moxley had run his course. He knew that he had run his course. I mean, Daniel Bryan, maybe? But
Yeah.
I got to feel like this is a massively large fucking thing.
I mean, if he leaves, it would be huge. It would be a big deal. It wouldn't. I mean, he'd be a big. It's not as big as when Bryan Danielson left. It's not as big as when Ambrose.
Wow.
It's probably about as big as when
Wow.
Ambrose left. I think it's on that level. I think they were on the same level. It's not as big as Danielson though. It's really not. I mean, you know, Bryan Danielson's not done anything in AEW. Really? But
there we go.
Yeah. But
There he comes.
at the time, you know, he left after WrestleMania. He was in the WrestleMania main event that year. And that was, you know, Roman stacked him and pinned him and Edge. Drew is not that wouldn't be leaving quite like that, but he'd be leaving quite in the same way that Ambrose did, I think. And I think it would be on that level. So it'd be like just under that.
Interesting. I'm very surprised that you took that stance. I really, really am.
I mean, you just got to think about where Bryan Danielson was at that moment in time when he left.
Crazy, bro. That's some shit I would expect Derek to say. You know, like
you would expect Derek to put Bryan Danielson over. Do you know who Derek didn't even like him? He didn't even know who Samoa Joe was at the time. Remember? Do you remember that?
Man.
I can't.
He thought Malachi Black was from Dusseldorf, Germany.
No, that was Excalibur.
Yeah. No.
He remembers him.
It's not who he thought it was.
Not who he thought it was.
It wasn't Tommy End.
That's not Tommy End. Oh, okay.
All right. Gentlemen, if we don't have anything pressing, I think that it's time to go ahead and mosey on into ye old match of the week.
It's only been a few days.
Tom?
So my match of the week, only because I watched it after although it happened before we recorded the last one, was Ivy Nile versus Tatum Paxley from NXT.
The fuck did you just say?
Ivy Nile versus Tatum Paxley from NXT.
Okay, please elaborate.
Shocked, eh? Ivy Nile gets better and better every single week. I don't know if you guys have been watching much NXT,
no.
But she's had quite a few matches, and has, quite frankly, every one of her matches gets better and better. She lays her shit in. It looks good. Nobody ends up coming out like botched or anything. And Tatum Paxley, I thought, did a great job in this. She just kind of sold really a lot for the whole Yeah, Ivy Nile, I think, is going to be somebody. She's going to be a big deal. Once she can talk a little more. Her only shortcoming, I think, is really going to be that she's a little short. So, like, her shit looks good and she lays it in, but she's not like Charlotte Flair where she's also tall and blonde. You know, she's like this kind of little fireball of murder. But she's very short. Like if you watch the match, the one thing that's also very noticeable is her head. Like the third rope kind of only comes up to like the back of her head here, so like she's almost the same height as the ropes, which is not. It's I think it's harder to be a pro wrestler. Period. If you're just not that tall, like you really have to be. But no, her wrestling's been great. I thought the match was great. They really, to not be disrespectful, but to kind of steal a line from Jim Cornette. They worked like guys, really. It was more of a like they laid their stuff in. There was a lot of hitting, it wasn't a lot of like acrobatics or anything like that. It was strikes, throws, tosses, hip tosses, things like that. Just very basic, but it was all laid in really well. And yeah, that was my match of the week because I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
It stuck out.
Awesome. I might have to go check that out, huh?
It's on the interwebs.
I'm sure that it is. Derek.
So mine actually comes from.
Mine actually is. I didn't watch any fucking wrestling this week, and I just don't have a fucking. I'm sorry, but I couldn't help myself.
No, you're good. I did though watch wrestling this week, and with the main event from SmackDown, Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. Even though there was a slightly fucked finish in the end, which I wasn't a huge fan of that portion of it. Obviously, this has been the biggest selling main attraction storyline that we've had in many, many years, and it continues to go on. So there for a minute, even I thought maybe Jey Uso was gonna, be a friend to Sami. And I still think that there is that there. I do. I really think that there's still something like, or maybe it's Solo. Maybe he's just, really being a deep fake. Very deep.
So deep. The deepest fake.
It's very deep.
There's a fourth Uso brother.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
There's a fourth Oos. Gonna have a fourth.
There's a fourth Oos.
There's a fourth Oos.
Interesting.
That's what I heard. Rikishi brought that up.
He did.
Oh.
Taking the fourth Oos is taking bookings. Got to email Papa Quiche though.
Papa Quiche, this motherfucker.
That's a deep cut there.
This guy. So my match of the week, in doing a little bit of research for this show, knowing that we were going to be talking about Wembley Stadium, I actually watched SummerSlam 1992 because I wanted to understand and feel what that needed to look like, right? A lot of great matches on that fucking show. But you know what stuck out to me the most was this fucking just a screw job fucking match between The Undertaker and Kamala. Man, if that wasn't vintage early 90s wrestling horse shit, happy gimmick, fucking bull, funky butt-loving stuff. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck was. The Undertaker's entrance on the hearse. Oh, my God. What a piece of cinema. Like just live theater at its finest. They don't fucking do it like they used to, boys. I'll tell you that right now. Even in like a funky finish, a screwed finish, when Kim Chi hits the Undertaker with his little safari hat, and then Kamala just beats the fuck out of the Undertaker. What a great little piece of business, Just that led to the casket match.
It did. Led to the casket match.
So That's my match of the week.
The screwy finish. It's the Undertaker. It's the hearse. Because I remember the hearse. It was
I mean, I am a sucker for vintage Undertaker.
Yeah, the hearse is really that's really I think what solidifies it as decent, because
there was a lot of great entrances on that show. I mean, you had the Road Warriors coming down on the Harleys. I mean, Hawk was fucking goofballed out of his mind, in that match. Like I'd never noticed it until a couple of years ago when it became common knowledge that was a thing and that happened. And like you watch it, and it's like, Jesus Christ, what are you doing, Hawk?
He's not there.
But like
he's sitting up there on the Titantron watching the whole thing from up there.
Yeah, while his body's in the ring going, do I go right? Which way's right?
There's a lot of, if you go back and look, because I always thought it was like, oh, Hawk no sells everything. It wasn't that Hawk no sold. He was just this huge dude, and they'd like run into him because he wasn't in the right spot because he was out of his mind, and like he would no sell it. Like he'd be shocked that they hit him, and like you'd go back and look at it, and he's like, it's like, oh, he's selling. It's like, no, he's high. He's higher. He's as high as pterodactyl tits.
Pterodactyl tits. Jiminy Christmas. Well, with that note, hey, so if you're still hanging out with us, we appreciate you. Please hit that thumbs up. And if you like what we do, please consider subscribing. That would really help us out. Check us out over on Twitter and Instagram at @1_Fall WC. That's ONE. And if you're enjoying us right now, anytime, anywhere, we appreciate you. So with all that being said, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast. Derek, like, why?